instruments, household items, and furniture used by the missionaries during that period. As well as Oshiwambo cultural artifacts, a traditional homestead can also be found adjacent to the museum. When traveling to the north, be sure not to miss out on this unique experience. Watch this space for more stories about the O regions.
A warm welcome to all our viewers. You are watching the locally produced TV series called Ask the Mayor, a platform exclusive to One Africa TV, where you get to ask this country's various mayors and town council representatives questions by sending those questions to the number 555 and then having them answered right here in the studio. At times, our team might also visit your town to hear your questions for your town mayor or town council representative personally. I'm your presenter, Joseph Shifeni. Thank you for joining us. We are continuing this television series, and this time it's with His Worship, the Mayor of the town of Rehoboth, Enrico Juniors, who now joins us in the studio. Your Worship, thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning, Joseph. Thanks for inviting me. Thanks for the invite, and a warm welcome to your viewers.
And congratulations once again on your re-election.
Yeah, thanks. I know it was indeed a very huge honor to be re-elected. As you know, mayors are re-elected each and every year. We've got a five-year term as councillors, so I'm really, it's a huge honor to serve my town for another year at least as mayor.
Before we get into the questions from the public, perhaps you can tell us, since you've only been a mayor thus far for the past few months, what has your experience been like serving as the mayor of the town of Rehoboth?
As you know, our previous mayor passed away. I'm only mayor for the last 7 months. And indeed, it was a huge challenge, I mean. But I was prepared. I also assisted the previous mayor. I was prepared for this challenge. But still, once you are in the chair as a mayor, then you only realize the huge magnitude of really what's going on in a town. Lots of questions are being asked, as you will maybe ask me questions from the viewers. But it, like I say, it's a challenge, but it's rewarding. I've grown up in the town of Rehoboth. It's my hometown. And I would really like, as a mayor, to plow back into the community. This town was very good to myself, honestly. And that's why I serve as mayor, to put back. And I think that's also with my councillors. Collectively, we can see how the best we can do for our inhabitants.
I've come across that most of the questions that we've received center around service delivery, in particular land. Is Rehoboth having a problem when it comes to land grabbing? And how does it affect service delivery to the residents, in your view, Your Worship?
A very good question. And I don't think it only pertains to Rehoboth. Land delivery is a collective problem for all municipalities, for all councils, for all village councils. I think that we all know. Inhabitants are coming more from the rural areas into towns. And that pertains to Windhoek, Kubabas, Grootfontein, wherever you go. So that's a very huge problem. And not only in Rehoboth, as I've said, but Rehoboth specifically, because the schools are in town. So people move away, as I said, from the rural areas. They're trying to come to town to give their children better opportunities. The next thing is work opportunities. The next thing is services, all these things. That's why people come to outside places, Groothoop, outside places like Slip, they move to town, as I've said, for reasons known only to them. So that's one of the huge problems. And I will be open and say that in Rehoboth it is a very big concern for myself.
Moving on to the very first question here from Simon Kamberipa. who is one of the concerned residents from Block E. He wants to know who represents them in Block E and can answer the residents' questions.
Yeah, no, I can answer any questions for sure, and they can put forward the questions. I will answer them. When I came in as mayor, I must say there's a distinct difference whereby people separate Block E from town. And that's one thing I would like to move away from. I am a mayor for the whole of Rehoboth, including Block D, E, whatever we refer to as blocks in Rehoboth. That's why we've got Block E. But that I would try to eradicate, to be there for all, to be a mayor for all. But on the other hand, we've got 7 councillors, and we are elected on a political basis, but we represent the whole town. So you can't specifically say that 1 or 2 persons are assigned for Block E. But we do have councillors that traditionally grew up in Block E. They understand the challenges, they understand the needs in Block E, and they are addressing it. But I, as a mayor, would also like to be closely involved with all these things. I'm on the ground. I speak to the people a lot. Whenever we've got the visits from the ministers or from the governor, we go to Block E, we speak to the people. But I would like to see that as one town, as a collective. So we talk together, we speak together, and we try to solve problems. But on the other hand, I would also like to say that challenges from Block E are more specific to that area, pertaining to services once again.
So, Bishop, you do engage some of these community leaders that are there?
Absolutely. But as I've said, we've got councillors that grew up in that area. We've also got our regional councillors, which is responsible for that area specifically. I've got a very good relationship. We've got 2 east and the west constituencies for regional councillors. And me as a mayor, I work very well together with them to speak to them. But on the other hand, my office is open. I'm open. I've said it before. People can come and see me anytime, irrespective from which area they are, pertaining to problems. And obviously, I see a lot of people from Block E, from whatever block. But as I've said, I try to be on the ground, be with the people to hear what their problems are.
Yes. We have another resident here, Wilhelmina Eichers, who is also a resident of Block E. And although you spoke about water and electricity earlier when you covered land, she wants to know when these problems in particular will be resolved.
Once again, let me come back to the whole of Namibia. At this stage, because of COVID...
It's a national problem.
It's a national problem. Because of COVID, funds were directed towards COVID alleviation to try to save lives, which I agree with fully. It's no use putting up services and we all died because of COVID. So from the government side, most funds were directed towards COVID. We, as a council, are waiting on the government to assign money to us to bring services, better services to the people. But that is in the process of being done. But we as a council, we're also generating our own money. We're talking about roads. We're talking about street lights. All these things, it needs money. But we're in the process of looking at these problems and trying to solve it. But once again, it's for the whole town. I can't go out and say, I need to fix only the lights of Block E. I should do it for the whole town. But if there are specific problems we can do in a short term, my office is open. People can come.
All the informal settlements.
All the informal settlements.
Let's go for a quick commercial break, and when we get back, we'll be looking at more questions from you for the Mayor of Rehoboth.
When life gets boring, we bring out our play, because playfulness is in our DNA. It's in the way we move and love. We're the different flavors that make life more exciting. We're the ones who add color to every moment. Fanta, color every moment.
It's the festive season and we love it. And that means it's time to celebrate with GoTV.
Well, that's good news.
So get your GoCoda, GoTenna, and GoTV Plus from only $399 to watch with the whole family. And if you're feeling extra festive, upgrade to our best package yet, GoTV Super.
Amazing.
Download the My GoTV app for more information.
Super.
We all deserve a super festive season.
Perfect for you.
And with GoTV, there's every reason to love it.
Welcome back. You're watching Ask the Mayor. Your Worship, before we get on to more questions from members of the public, perhaps you can tell us, you took over in June as the mayor of the town of Rehoboth. Can you perhaps tell us about some of the successes and challenges that you've come across?
First of all, the challenge in Rehoboth used to be electricity and water. It's in the open that we've got huge deficit, NAM power, NAM water. The challenge, first of all, as a council, was for us to renegotiate our debt and to keep the water and lights on. I mean, that's the most important part of town. And that we've done successfully, I must say. Rehoboth, there used to be power cuts, there used to be water cuts and all these things. But we as a council, we work constructively to alleviate that, and that we've done. Then secondly, the basic needs, roads, the street lights, all these things, the delivery of service is important to the people. When we came in as a council, and me most specifically as a mayor, there used to be a distance between the inhabitants and council. And there used to be bad blood, I'll be honest about it. That I've eradicated. We work very well together.
Your Worship, moving on to the very first question that we have here from a resident by the name Jacqueline Owiras, who says toilets were built for the residents, but only the toilets of some houses are connected to the sewage system. She says the rest of them are living in filth because their toilets are not connected to the sewage system. And the town council says connecting the toilets to the sewage system is not their job, since the people who build the toilets must help the residents. She says all they need help with is connecting the pipes to the sewage system, and they are willing to pay for that. So what is your response?
That is a very, very good question. And first of all, I would like to apologize. This is not the way it should have been done. There's no ways. The toilets were built, I agree, but they are not connected. It's not what it should be. Now, I'm not making excuses, but this was done on a regional council basis. Town council ourselves, we were not involved in this. Toilets were built at the back of houses. They were connected, most of them, but as Jacqueline rightly said, some of them are not connected. I came to hear about this about a week and a half ago. I took it up with the regional council. There is still money available to complete this project. That funds will be transferred to town council now, and then we will do the connection of these toilets to the sewerage system. I would appeal to any resident, if they got a similar problem, to come to my office at any time, bring it under my attention. But as I've said, early in the new year, funds are available. We're going to start once again connecting these toilets. Thanks for the offer, Jacqueline, that you offer even to give your own materials. But I think it's unfair to ask citizens. But if we go to the extent, we can do it. But definitely, it's going to be my first project as I enter office in January. We are in recess now. When I'm back, I'm going to look into that. But once again, my office is open. If there are any more questions about this, she's more than welcome to come and see me. Not only herself, other residents. I would also like to say that this is only in Block E, where this specific problem is. But we as council, like I said, we were not involved from the start. But I will make it my issue now to see that these toilets are connected as soon as possible.
Frederica Scriver has a very interesting question here. She wants to know when the mayor will fix the roads in Rehoboth, adding that at times the residents themselves try to fix the roads.
Also a very good question. I must say our people in Rehoboth, that they know what they're talking about. And all these questions are valid. Let me make no bones about it. And I appreciate the openness that they've got a platform at least to ask now. Now, pertaining to roads, we get an allocation from the Roads Authority each and every year to upgrade our roads. Now, unfortunately, when I came in as a mayor, most of these funds are spent on the tarred roads. They are not in a bad condition, but it's a resealing, resurfacing. But I've taken it up with the Roads Authority, and they've said some of these funds we can redirect to our gravel roads. Now, we've got certain roads that are really, really very bad in town. Those need attention. So also, once again, with the allocation of a Roads Authority, I'm going to redirect some of that money towards these roads and also upgrade this road. It's not only the bad condition of the roads. We also talk about dust pollution. If you drive past Rehoboth in the mornings and even in the afternoons, it's a cloud hanging over the town, and that's not healthy. That's also part of the problem. So we're not talking about the condition. We're also talking, like I said, a health risk, whereby we've got dust pollution a lot. So that we can also alleviate. And she spoke about inhabitants fixing the road.
Yes.
Now, I've also started as a mayoral project whereby myself, we fix the street lights. We've started fixing the streets, all these things. And like I said, tomorrow we're going to do something about the garbage dumps. Once again, money is a constraint. So I'm also dependent on the inhabitants of the town to also assist.
Yes.
I spoke to local contractors and they are very helpful. We can't always wait on council to do all these things. Rightfully, she said that private persons sometimes help. But me as a mayor, I've got what I call mayoral projects, whereby specific times I assign myself to specific problems, and the roads specifically are also one of them. Like I said, some of the roads are not in a bad condition, but again, rain is coming. We're going into the rainy season when it's really a big problem in the river specifically. But as I said before, previously funds were allocated fixing the tarred roads only, but we are going to look into that, fixing our gravel roads. At least there are certain arterial roads into areas that really need attention, and that's part of my mayoral project to look into those roads. But also, early 2022, things are going to happen. That's a promise.
All right. We still have a lot of questions to be answered by His Worship, the Mayor of the town of Rehoboth, Enrico Juniors. But first, let's go for another break before we get to that.
Me and you, let's get to Ghana. Hey! Right, jump. This is Ghana. You've come here to seek for greener pastures. Make it your worthwhile.
Any guinea fowl is Guinea. Guinea fowl has nothing to do with Guinea. It's just the name of the fowl.
So Ghana jollof, what? Is it Nigerian beans? What? Have we made before?
No. Jasper! Help me!
Welcome back to Ask the Mayor, your exclusive platform here on One Africa TV, where we get to have a sit-down with mayors and town council representatives from across the country, answering questions posted by the public. If you just joined us, we are here in the studio with His Worship, the Mayor of the town of Rehoboth, Enrico Juniors. Your Worship, Jan Richter wants to know why nothing is being done about vehicles driven at a high speed in residential areas, as it endangers the lives of especially children playing in the streets. He says, why should they wait for someone to die first?
Speeding in the roads, I mean, strictly speaking, it's a traffic regulation. We as council, I can't go and find somebody but I hear the concern, and I'm also very, very worried about our children being endangered by people speeding in town. The solution to this short term is to put in speed humps. I'm also working on that, to put in speed humps in certain areas in town, whereby we can try people to reduce speed. Not only that, speeding puts up a lot of dust. So if we put in speed humps, it will slow the vehicles, and that will also lead a little bit to dust pollution coming down in town. But that's a concern. And once again, it's only specific areas that is more prevalent than the rest of town. But I will also speak to our traffic officers to look into this, what they can do to be more visible, to prevent people from speeding in town. As you know, the B1 runs through the town of Rehoboth, and that's also a concern. I've spoken to RA, to even there, if you can maybe look at circles or ways and means of calming down the traffic.
Your Worship, Petronella Mbewe is asking, and this is a question with regards to, I believe, the cleanup campaign that you're about to have soon, whether you're aware that the town of Rehoboth is quite dirty, adding that residents don't have dustbins to help keep the town clean.
Petronella, as I've said in my introduction, we're going to start tomorrow with the cleanup campaign, specifically Burgershoek for Struisvlakte. Thereafter, we're moving to Block E.
A block, yes.
That's correct. But I don't agree 100% that the town is dirty. And if the town is dirty, my question is, who makes it dirty? I mean, we as citizens should be sensitized to keep our places clean. That's to start off with. We've got a contract with a contractor whereby we've got refuse removals in every block once per week. I spoke to this person personally. They are trying to stick to their schedule. There's also a schedule out whereby people can really see when exactly they must put out their bins. Then lastly, there is a helpline number which Petronella can contact me. I will give my number later, and then I can relay. If you've got any problems pertaining to refuse and these type of things, we've got a helpline number that you can phone. Refuse bins is one thing we are looking at. At this stage, people's got their own private bins, which they put out. But we are looking at a system whereby, like in Winter, where you have these wheelie bins, which we are looking at. Unfortunately, it will bring about cost. But we can maybe look into it whereby inhabitants can pay it off. You put it on your municipal bill and they pay it off. But that's one thing we look at. But in total, as a mayor and I think as council, we are busy looking at this refuse removal system completely, whereby we would like to implement maybe a system whereby we use the locals to do our refuse removals for us. Firstly, to create jobs, and then also maybe put out specific blocks to specific people. And at this stage, one person is responsible for the whole of town. But like I said, we're looking at ways and means of implementing a system whereby we can, as I've said, create jobs, firstly, and then secondly, divide ourselves into blocks, whereby one person is responsible for one block specifically. But I would like to come back. We are responsible for our own town. We, as citizens, must look after our own dirt. I get complaints of people as they are on their way to the refuse dump. They just dump whatever they've got in their cars, and we must take pride in our town. I, as a mayor, would like to say, as you've referred to before, that Rehoboth should be the cleanest town in Namibia.
Your Worship, as we get to the end, perhaps is there anything that you would like to mention regarding the town of Rehoboth?
Thanks for the opportunity. I believe that we are at the dawn of a new beginning for Rehoboth. And I think that's not only a challenge for myself as a mayor, it's also a challenge for our councillors, it's a challenge for our administrative staff, but most of all, and most importantly, for our residents. We just came out of COVID. It was a difficult time for all of us. We were down, we've lost loved ones and everybody. So I would like to appeal to our town. Let's come together as a collective. As I said before, there used to be not a good relationship, specifically from inhabitants towards town council, and I think vice versa from town council. We've upgraded our service delivery. That's the first thing. Secondly, we spoke to our staff. It's very difficult to entertain problems, but we are in the business of service delivery. Our staff should be friendly, should be courteous at all times. I speak a lot. I move amongst them to try to give the best services to our town. And as I've said before, certain projects are coming to town, and we are also attracting more to create jobs. The biggest problem in Rehoboth at this stage is unemployment. And secondly, the availability of land. Those two things are paramount for me as a mayor to address, and that I'm going to do. Through all these projects that we bring into town, we would like to ask these people to employ local people. Not only employ, but also to give training for them to upgrade their skills. Skills delivery, that's also part of it. So that's commitment from us. Then our contractors going to be used in these projects that's coming to town. So I'm really looking forward for this next 4 years, for us as councillors, to put Rehoboth back to where it used to be. You won't believe that Rehoboth has got about 60,000 inhabitants. It's the largest town in the Hardap region. So I would like to see it as the capital of the Hardap region. And we would also like to be the capital of the South, if need be. So that's one thing we are really trying hard to put Rehoboth back on the map again. But once again, it should be a collective. It should be me as a mayor, we as councillors, we as administrative staff, and as I've said, we as a community should stand together, to work together, to make Rehoboth a better place to. Most of our people are working in Rehoboth, they're commuting. It's unsafe, it's difficult. But there again, we are trying to look at ways and means of accommodating people. They come back late at night, they are tired and all these things. Then they would like to sit back and relax. But that's the environment we would like to create in Rehoboth again, that people can come back to, and they believe they're back at home.
Your Worship, I would like to thank you very much for your time, sir.
Thank you very much. On that note, I would also like to say a Merry Christmas to all of us, to all the people in Rehoboth, and specifically to everybody in Namibia, and all the best for 2022. As I've said, we just came through a very difficult time,
yes,
but we're looking forward to next year to be the best. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you, Worship. And that brings us to the end of the show. From me, Joseph Sifeni, till next time, it's goodbye.
Do you know about the Leaning Tower of Windhoek? It is decked artistically with unique metal bars to counter the skewness caused by hasty construction, and is one of the 2 chimneys of the Fanec coal-driven power station set on the northern outskirts of Windhoek. The 2 towers were built in the late 60s by Southwest Africa Water and Electric Corporation, or SWAVEC, today referred to as NamPower, with the approval from the South African government as an afterthought of the original plan recommended by the controversial Odendaal Commission. This was due to the prolonged negotiations with the Portuguese government regarding the Ruacana scheme for the construction of the Kaluwek Dam in Angola to regulate the river flow downstream towards the Ruacana Falls and to develop a hydropower station for the transmission of power. The Fanec power station was first commissioned in June 1972 and is named after Dr. Fanec, who proposed the idea of the Ruacana scheme. So now that you know more about this distinctive Leaning Tower of Windhoek, we hope this construction mishap brings a smile to your face, as it did to many when it was initially constructed, as upon return from your Namibian adventure.
Akiri, akiri. Will you wash your hands with me? I want to wash my hands with you. Come on, I will show you what to do. Wash your hands in clean water. Wash your hands, wet them with the water. Wash your hands, now add some soap. Scrub your hands in the soap and water. Scrub above and below between the fingers too. Scrub under your nails and scrub-a-dub-a-doo. Rinse your hands in water. Rinse them clean, rinse away the soap. Dry your hands and go.
Akili, why do we wash our hands?
To wash away the germs.
Akili, what are germs?
They're like tiny little bugs on your hands, and they can make you sick.
But I don't see any germs on my hand.
That's because they're so tiny that you can't even see them.
Oh wow! I want to wash the germs away. Will you wash your hands with me, Akili?
Of course! Wash your hands in clean water. Wash your hands, wet them with the water. Wash your hands, now add some soap. Scrub your hands in the soap and water. Scrub above and below between the fingers too. Scrub under your nails and scrub-a-dub-a-doo. Rinse your hands, rinse your hands, rinse your hands in water. Rinse them clean, rinse away the soap.